Because, as you already know from our previous videos or from the principles of the quantum physics, when we observe something, we influence it, change it, which means we can observe the universe as one in which there is no time. Now we are accustomed to perceiving the universe as such in which there is time. We perceive everything that happens around us as something in time, something that exists in the past, present, and future. But can we change our perception and feel that time doesn't exist? The past and the future exist now just as much as the present. And we will start with metaphors, examples thanks to which our brain can perceive the idea that time doesn't exist. Let's just allow ourselves to assume that time doesn't exist. Imagine that you are driving along the road along the sea coast. You leave in the morning, you see the mountains, and at lunchtime you drive by the ocean, and in the evening you arrive in the city. It seems to you that all this was in time. Time passed and all this changed. In your perception, the mountains and the ocean were in the past. The city is in the present. And the desert through which you will drive tomorrow is in the future. But if you rise high enough above the planet, you will see that all this exists simultaneously. In one moment, for your perception, there are mountains and the ocean and the city and the desert. You can perceive all this simultaneously, without past and future. The next metaphor. Imagine that you are riding a train and looking out the window. You saw a big, beautiful tree. In a few minutes, it will be in the past. Now you see the endless fields, and what you will see in the future is unknown to you. But if you put your hand out of the window or climb onto the roof of the train, you will see that the tree has not disappeared anywhere. It has not remained in the past. It is where it is, also alive. At the same time as the fields and at the same time as the bridge over the river along which the train will pass in the future. Sitting in the carriage and looking out the window, the bridge for us is an unknown future. The tree is the past, of which will never be. And the fields are a reality happening to us right now. Sitting on the roof of the train, we can simultaneously perceive the tree, the bridge, and the fields. The past and the future doesn't exist. Everything is and is happening in the current moment. Just think about it, or better, try to feel it. A third metaphor, a film strip with the film shots. You as a viewer watching it the linear time. At the beginning of the film, the hero is small. Then he grows up, and in the end of the film, he is already an adult or old. However, the entire film strip exists simultaneously. The frames where the actor is small and old exist simultaneously when you look at the film projector or the film strip. And when you look at the screen, you'll see how the frames replace each other, and it seems that all this is happening in time. It seems that the first frame are already the past, and the next ones are the future, which is unknown. When you merge with the film, time exists for you. When you watch it from the outside, there is no time, and everything happens, exists simultaneously in the current moment. For a person watching a film, it is obvious that time exists. For a person looking at the film strip, the entire plot is immediately obvious. Try to move away from the film strip of your current life and see the entire film. This is a very exciting experience. And what you get, what you feel, please write in the comment below this video. Remember these examples. Below we will use them as a basis for the exercises to feel the presence and absence of time. And now ask yourself a question. Could your problematic states, emotional feelings, sensations exist if there were no time? When you merge with the feelings, you feel time, because all feelings and sensations occur in time. Sometimes it may even seem that Those feelings will never end and will continue forever. Being in them, you can't see either the beginning or the end of those feelings. They are all around you. Observing the feelings transfers you to a space without time, in which you observe feelings that has a beginning and has the end, which collapse into a particle and change over time because it is in time. That is why at the quantum level, at the level of wave, there is no time. It collapses in the same way through observation by our consciousness. The observer of this process remains outside of time because when we observe something, we thereby separate ourselves from it and are not it. And perhaps the most important conclusion from this is that there is no cause-effect relationship because it also takes time to exist. There is no karma in the sense that it offered to us. Now let's do some exercises. Since you already has experience from the previous videos, you can choose what you prefer to work with, thoughts and emotions and sensations or situations in your life. Sit down or lay down so that you are comfortable, close your eyes and notice any sensation that arises. At the moment it arises, mark its beginning with the label beginning and observe it as we did with the emotions. Observing the sensation, mark its most pronounced part with the label middle. Continue observing and mark the end of the sensation with the label end. You were observing a sensation that was unfolding in time. But where were you? Was time there where you were observing? The next exercise. One of the reasons for our perception of time, as I personally think, is the need to forget unimportant information, or more precisely, to push it out of consciousness perception in order to avoid a memory overload. Recalling the example with the movie. Remember how you went today. Imagine it as one frame on the film strip, and imagine this film strip in front of you. Remember yesterday. Imagine it as one frame from the film and place it near the frame of today. Remember several previous days and place them as frames on the film strip. Now simulate tomorrow. Imagine it as a frame from the film strip and place it on the other side of the frame of today. Do this for several days in the future. If you do all this, you will have a film strip with the frames of the days of your life in front of you. Now you see them all at once. Today, tomorrow, yesterday, and so on. You can enter any frame and leave the chosen day. There is time for you in the frame. In the frame, the previous frame has already passed forever, and the next one is still unknown. However, when you leave the frame and look at the entire film, the very concept of time will no longer exist. And pay attention to your feelings. Now, instead of the film, you can take something that bothers you. Also, for simplicity, at first you can try to break down today into frames. Now, a metaphor with a train. How do you like the idea that a person has a soul? If you don't like this idea, just take it as a metaphor. If this idea doesn't surprise you, perhaps you have read something about the regressive hypnosis, for example, the Michael Newton, or you have a personal experience in this topic. So, if we process from the experience of regression, then our soul knows why we are here. It itself consciously chooses to experience the experience it needs in this reincarnation and knows exactly what happened to us, what is, and what will be. That is, our soul sits on the roof of the train, knows its road and sees everything that is around this road. Our consciousness sits in the train car and looks out the window, longing for the past and afraid of the future. Let's try to rise to the level of the soul and look at our life from this level. Again, sit down or lay down so that you are comfortable and close your eyes. and try to feel where your soul is, in the body or outside of it. And when you feel it, move your consciousness to the level of the soul. At this level, you feel absolute peace. And from here, look at your whole life. If you do this exercise responsibly, you can get a very interesting experience and a new attitude to your life. Who recognized in this exercise the technique of the universal therapy by Leonid Talpis? Now you know what and at what levels happened. And if we do the separation of souls, we do it at a level where there is no time. And this makes it possible to break the connection not only with people who died long ago and whom we might not even know, but also with our past reincarnations. For example, if in your previous reincarnation you were killed by a man and in this one you are afraid of man, from the soul level you can feel that all of this can be changed at the same time and in the current moment. We will probably talk about how to feel your soul in the next videos. Therefore, if you are interested in this topic, subscribe to this channel, like and share this video so I will understand that it is worth to continue.